All right, let's go out to Pittsburgh and talk to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, what's up, man?
Hi, Dr. John.
What's up, dude?
How are you?
Good, man.
Just looking through the notes that I wrote down to make sure I don't miss much here. I'm a very detail-oriented person. I like to lay things out before I do stuff like anything like this. So,
well, I had a coworker call me and I quote, hot mess this morning. So I need some order in my life. So go for it, man. Read it out to me.
So this time last year, my wife asked me for an open relationship. And I could see that she was struggling really bad and had been for a while. And I felt like I didn't want to just say no to her. So basically I said, I'll give you a month, not do anything, nothing physical. I said, I'll let you collect information, give me some data, tell me a reason why you think this would help us.
She was already with somebody, wasn't she?
She had been already a year and a half before that for a year.
Yep, almost every time.
And she already had a plan. Like we laid out all these ground rules, what would happen if we got there, and she was with somebody like almost right away, somebody different than this other person. And both of them were from work. And then, so I am struggling with this because it wasn't, after the first month, I was like, this is not something I want to have anything to do with, which I knew before I even agreed to any of it.
Right.
If I would admit it to myself. But then, I asked her to stop and she said no. And even though she told me she hadn't been with anyone, there was nothing there. She was still sleeping with me. And then I find out later that she wasn't using protection with these people.
Have you ever heard the analogy about the rattlesnake in the paper bag?
I think so, but you might have to refresh my memory. So
a guy is walking down the street and he stumbles on a plastic bag and he opens it up and there's a rattlesnake inside, buzzing. And that rattlesnake says, hey, will you help me get out of this bag? I'm stuck in here. I can't get out. And the guy goes, dude, I'm not going to pick you up. You're a rattlesnake. You'll bite me. And the rattlesnake goes, no, I'm not. I need help. Like, I'm not going to bite you this time. Like, I need you to help me. And the guy's like, ugh, okay. And he sticks his hand in and the rattlesnake just bites the crap out of him. And the guy goes, why'd you do that? You said you weren't going to. And he's like, I'm a rattlesnake. That's what I do. And then he goes, will you help me, though? Help me out of this bag. And he goes, no, you just bit me. And he goes, I know. I had to get that out of my system. I'm a rattlesnake. It's hard for me not to. I won't do it again. The guy's like, no, you bit me. And he goes, oh, come on. And he goes, all right. So he puts his hand back in the bag to grab the snake, and the snake bites him again. That's you.
Okay.
Your wife was cheating on you for a year and a half. How long have y'all been married?
We've been married for 6 years, but we've been together since we were teenagers, so we've been together for almost 16 years.
Okay, it's been happening before that. Statistically speaking, it's happened before that. Hold on. She's cheating on you. Then she came up with a plan to get you to go along with it. And when somebody's cheating on you for over a year, that means she didn't just have a one-night stand or a weekend fling or a 2 or 3 week, like, what am I doing? She was with somebody for a year. And so that marriage disconnection you felt, that even entertained the idea that I know it'll make my marriage better, my wife goes and knocks around with some other dude. That'll help. The fact you even entertained that was not because your marriage is falling apart because of something you were doing. It's because your wife is already in a relationship with somebody else.
Okay.
And then you set up ground rules, and you're stunned that she goes and sleeps with somebody else right away.
Yeah, she broke every rule the first time.
She's not a person of integrity. And I'm only telling you that because I love you, man. She's a person that lies and cheats to her husband and her ride or die for 16 years.
I would like to say that so we went on a family vacation, and she on this vacation, we were driving through the middle of the night because we have young children, and I wanted them to sleep. And her phone was still lit up because everything was locked on it, obviously. It was still lit up, so I grabbed it, and I found a bunch of stuff. She was sending videos and pictures and all sorts of stuff to many, many people. And from that day, we started working to try to fix this. And then I found out everything maybe a month and a half after that in July. And since the day that she has come clean and told me everything, she has done every single thing I've asked. She has gone to counseling. I've gone to counseling. We're about to start couples therapy. We've taken trips together. We've really tried to reconnect on all levels and become better parents and just do things together. And to be honest, I've found nothing since then that says there was more. And trust me, I became a person who was searching phone logs and doing all this stuff that I had never done over the first 15 years. I'd never even been through a phone.
You find yourself like Liam Neeson real fast. Like, I will fight.
It was wild.
Yeah, you just like become one of those murder podcast people for sure. I got to solve this, right? So what's your question? Let's get right to it. What's your question?
I cannot stop thinking about her with these other people.
That's right.
I start visualizing, and then I ruminate, and then I spiral, and then I make up scenarios in my head, and I make everything even worse than it probably was.
Maybe.
And then I ask her about it, and then I can see the guilt is crushing her because now that she's in a healthier place and knows what she is doing to me currently, for us, for my children, for her, I need to start feeling better and not being so crushed day to day and not having these 2 or 3 day spans where I just cannot function because the weight of this is killing me. And I just am not sure how to move forward with it.
Okay. Often what happens in these situations is you are so empowered's not the right word. You're so brought back to life. You're enlivened. That's not really, I don't know if that's the right word. You're just given life again by seeing your partner try to connect with you. By seeing her do the things that you wished had been happening for 15 years. And it injects some life, some light back into a dark, dark, dark room. And what often happens is what you're running into right now. So I want you to know you're not crazy. You're not nuts. You're not alone. You're not on an island by yourself. This happens all the time, okay?
That's exactly how it feels, too.
I know it does. It's super isolating. And you start to feel crazy. Because she's doing all these things that seems that she's all in. And
it really feels that way.
I know it does. You're not crazy, okay? What you haven't done is a couple of things. You have not grieved this yet. I don't know that you fully metabolized what actually happened. You've been too busy searching and playing Matlock and trying to solve this thing and then trying to get her to not wreck this whole car because it's flying down the highway and it's got kids in it and it's a thing and it's my marriage. And you haven't sat on the back porch by yourself and stared off at the sunset and said out loud, my wife was cheating on me for years. My wife was sleeping with other guys. My wife was sending nude videos and photos of herself all over the place. People have my wife's naked body on their phones. Who knows? Who knows how many? Who knows who they've shared that with? Uploaded it to. And the only way, and I'm being really direct with you because the only way to heal, it's the same as if I'm looking at somebody and I'm holding both of their hands and I look them in the eye and say, your husband was in a car wreck and he has died. There is something about you have to, facts of your friends have to be told this is what happened and you have to sit in that and own it. And what you're going to find is that you've been trying to keep your marriage together. Brother, the marriage you had is over.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that.
Y'all can, no question about it, decide to build something new.
And we have. I think that's where we're at right now. If I could move forward, I think she is starting to. And trying to forgive herself.
Do you see how this is turned on you and you're making yourself the bad guy?
Yeah, I'm good at that.
I know. It's one of your spiritual gifts. Stop. Quit it. Quit it. It doesn't help the situation. The reality is the person who is the mother of your kids didn't stab you in the back. She stabbed you right in the face. And then tried to concoct a plan to get you to go along with doing it in the future. And you being a guy that always goes to the mirror and is convinced that you're the biggest piece of crap on planet Earth and you can't believe a woman like her would even be with you in the first place, much less have kids and be your wife, went along with it.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to face.
I know it is. I know. Here's what she really needs. She needs you to stand up on 2 feet, tall. Put your shoulders back. Y'all are keeping the car going. You are. But you have to ask yourself a question you haven't asked yet. What do you want moving forward?
I want to make it work with her for our children and for me and for her. I don't think it was ever about leaving me or any of that. These were both married men. I gave one of them 24 hours to tell his wife he lived locally, and then I made sure she knew the details. The other one wouldn't even admit to knowing her, so I got his wife's phone number, and I made sure she had all the details.
And did that make you feel any better? No.
Not really. I was angry at the time.
It's pure anger and rage.
Had nowhere to take it but to my, basically what you called like the Sherlock Holmes things. Like I was just searching and I was digging and I couldn't stop and I felt like that's what needed to be done.
And I would golf clap if I was here.
Ruined multiple lives. Yep.
She wasn't trying to destroy your marriage because she thought she was bigger than the whole thing. She did, though. She destroyed what y'all had. And you went along with it for a while. So, both of you have to look at the parts of your marriage that you love and want to hang on to. And you both have to look at the pieces that have to be gone.
Okay.
And then you have to decide, will you be a part of this new thing? And then to answer your question, at some point, you are going to have to do the hard work of deciding, I trust her enough to tell myself to stop ruminating. And I'm going to practice that. And it's going to take about a year or two, if not longer. And then 10 years from now, you're going to have a lightning bolt image pop into your head of your wife with somebody else. And you're going to have to say out loud, stop it, or no, or not today. You're going to have some sort of mantra.
Yeah, they kill me.
Here's what it kills you. And this is when you have a choice. You don't have a choice right now because you haven't grieved this thing and your body is taking over because it knows you're not driving. What it's trying to do is to keep you safe. And this woman who destroyed you and your marriage and your family unit, and you went along with it, is still living in your home and y'all are having good moments and your brain is screaming at you, Jeff, going, she's the bear. She's the tiger that just tried to kill us. And so it has taken over. What grief allows you to do is to own what happened, feel it, write the letters you need to write, have the conversations you need to have, slowly begin to come out of this thing, begin exercising, begin moving, begin standing up on your own 2 feet, building something new, and then your body will stop trying to drive for you. Sort of. But it'll still drop some lightning bolts in there. That's when you have a choice. When those lightning bolts come, you can't stop those. You can't predict those. They just happen. It happens if you see your kid and you're in a tragic car wreck and your kid passes away and you get that image in your mind. Or if you are at a funeral and a loved one, a husband, a wife, a child is in a casket in that picture. Or if there's someone cheats on you, right? Those images flash into your mind and it's your brain's way of trying to protect you. You have a choice after that, from the second after that. Am I going to sit here and worship that image? Am I going to ruminate on it? Am I going to create stories about it? Am I going to let it fill my body? Am I going to feel it? Or am I going to stop it? Nope, I will not. And here's the magic. You have to have a couple of pictures in your mind ready to replace it.
That's a good idea.
So get 2 or 3 photos of you and your wife together laughing. And if you don't have those photos, go get them taken. Cracking up, doing something funny, back when y'all were in high school together, at a concert you loved together, and when that picture of her with some other dude pops into your head, you say out loud, no, and then you close your eyes and you concentrate on that photo.
I can tell you were definitely right. She was there was stuff before all this too. It was mostly all emotional, but I found that too.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kills your whole memories. So I can see where you're coming from. Like my memories for the last 15 years feel destroyed.
Yes. Because
And
the tiger is
so
still
you're
in your
right.
home. So what you have to teach your body is that tiger tried to kill us before, but I believe she's not going to try to kill us again.
Okay.
And give yourself
Makes sense.
some grace. You're not crazy. You're not nuts. You're just going from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And it sounds a lot, my brother, like you're getting dragged. You got dragged into this idea that, man, maybe if my wife just hooks up with other dudes, then things in my marriage will get some spark back. Madness. Maybe I'll do a whole thing on open marriages. My God. But, geez Louise, I'm all distracted. Or now we're going to go to this. Now we're going to go to this. It sounds like you're getting dragged through this recovery. Your recovery is something that you have to own. You have to take the leadership on. Okay? It's got to be you. It's got to be you. It's got to be you. Call back anytime, my brother. Hang on the line. I'm going to send you a copy of Own Your Past, Change Your Future. I have a whole section where I talk about rumination. And then actually, I'm going to send you Building an Unanxious Life, too. I'm going to send you both of them, both the books that I wrote, my gift to you. And I talk a lot about some very concrete strategies for dealing with rumination, especially those flash images. Also pick up a book by the great David Kessler called Finding Meaning, which talks a lot about those flash memories as well. Sorry, my man. I'm sorry, my man. Let's spend some time sitting in the grief on this one, and don't do that alone.